President Cyril Ramaphosa has described the 13th Mpumalanga ANC elective conference as well-organised, peaceful and successful. He's urged newly elected leaders in the province to work on promoting unity and rebuilding the governing party. Our reporters Mbali, Thethani and Mweli Masilela are live in Emalahleni. Joining us right now, Mbali, let's start with you. Quite a number of issues about the state of the ANC in Mpumalanga coming out, and I know that the PEC has also just completed its voting processes. What else can you tell us?
That's certainly right, Ndogos. Of course, we saw President Cyril Ramaphosa, President of the ANC, conducting that closing address here in Emalahleni, and of course highlighting that Mpumalanga was the first ANC provincial structure to conclude its voting process and vote in a new PEC. They were the first province to have this conference, and saying that they've done this conference and have been awarded a golden state of, in fact, conducting a successful conference. Of course, you know, leading up to this conference, there were a number of issues at play. There was issues of violence that had marred some of their BGMs. There was also a lot of divisions when it comes to the problems facing this province. But of course, he has said that he knows and he knew that even before when he came here, that he told this PEC, or rather the Mpumalanga, a branch of the ANC, that indeed that they are indeed divided. And he says that coming out of this conference, they want to see a more united ANC in this province, and they want this province to renew itself. And of course, another issue that he touched on is the issue around Mandla Msibi. You would know that he was elected in absentia, and he did this with a letter. Mandla is a murder accused, of course, so he is facing the charge of murder. And you know that the ANC has been dealing with those who are facing criminal charges and have asked them to step aside. Mandla has indeed done that, but he has been elected into the top structure of this province. He is the treasurer in the top 5. So Ramaphosa, they're also touching on that issue, saying that this is something that this province needs to reflect on. It is also something that the ANC, the NEC, needs to also further discuss, because it's quite clear that the issues around step aside are still quite bare here. That when you look at these rules, it says those who have, it does not even outline if whether you have been charged, in fact, that you cannot contest any position of the ANC. So he went on as saying that this is something that the party needs to deal with, Ndogozo. But at the same time, he was just talking about the factions as well. We saw the Mandla Ndlovu, the newly elected chair. You would remember not so long ago when Ramaphosa was here, it was Mandla indeed who said, President, if the branches of the ANC say that you must stand up for a second term, you must accept. He went on, Ndogozo, to reaffirm that decision, saying that he's not campaigning for the president, but rather saying that they will continue to say, if branches say step up for this position, accept the position. So it's quite clear that when you look at the faction that won here, it is the faction of focus, and it was this faction that indeed supported Ramaphosa.
Well, thank you very much, Mbali. Let's go to Mweli, who, of course, is also reporting on the 13th provincial conference in Mpumalanga. Mweli, I mean, we saw scenes of jubilation earlier, certainly a good amount of jovial spirits from delegates gathered there, but I understand that you've had an opportunity to speak to some of them on a person-to-person basis, and what is their reaction to the events of this past conference?
Yes, indeed, a sense of jubilation as some of those who made it to the 30 to be the additional members of the PEC of the ANC here in Mpumalanga were actually announced this time around. And of course, one of them is the Premier of the province, Refilom Tsipane, who was actually expected to run for the position of chairperson initially, but then she couldn't meet the threshold from the branches, but she has now been elected to be part of the PEC. Mama, your reaction, or what do you make of the whole conference here? Did it live up to its expectations?
Definitely, the conference was indeed a very peaceful, revolutionary, and quite a watershed conference, the 13th Mpumalanga Conference, which has selected men and women in a form of a collective that they felt as delegates of this conference that they've got what it takes to lead this province towards the project of renewal, rebuilding and uniting the African National Congress. Yes, indeed, we had different lobby groups prior to us getting into the conference. Once the leadership has been elected, all those lobby groups, they cease to exist. We need to rally behind the leadership that has been elected under the leadership of Comrade Mandla Ndlovu as our chairperson. And therefore, we've got a huge responsibility ahead of us, all of us, of importance. The ANC is the organization that represent the masses of our people. As we do that, we need to make sure that the policies, the resolution of the African National Congress, they find expression in everything that we do, be it organizationally and in government as well. And therefore, it is important that we do have a center that will hold and make sure that we fast track the delivery of services and make sure that we better the lives of the people of Mpumalanga. We are very much humbled and very much happy by the confidence that has been showed by the delegates today, that has saw through their wisdom that this is the caliber of men and women that must be elected to lead this province.
All right, thank you very much, Mama. Let me just bring in another new member of the PC, that is Sibongile Makushe, who is also the mayor of the city of Mbali. Just your reaction, the Premier here has spoken about the road going forward, that the ANC must unite, but what do you make of the President's speech as he delivered the speech there and emphasizing on the issue of unity? Since coming to conference, you were quite divided as members of the ANC.
Thank you very much. I remember a headline saying I was lamenting the divisions in the province. Now, this conference has proved me wrong, because I was one of those who believed that when we come here, there will be chairs flowing around and everyone punching everyone. Now, from the President, when he was saying that we must unite going forward, it is a constitutional mandate for every member of the ANC to rally behind the elected leadership. So in its nature, when we go to conferences, we are going to be divided or have those collectives that are there. But for now, the way things have turned out, I am happy. I'm even proud of the delegates. I'm even proud of every member of the ANC and the branches of the ANC that have ensured that this conference is successful. Even the outgone leadership, who some of them have returned, we are very happy and we are humbled by their contribution towards the movement.
All right, thank you very much for talking to us. As you have heard, that's one of the new members of the PC, as they were announced just a few moments ago, and indeed making a commitment that they will heed to the call of the President, Cyril Ramaphosa, as he called on members of the ANC and also the newly elected leadership of the ANC in Mpumalanga to make sure that they promote unity within the ruling party and also make a commitment in terms of trying to rebuild the organization.
Well, thank you very much, Mweli, both Mweli and Mbali. Thethani reporting on that story for us out in Mpumalanga.